You're visiting the Mom Next Door and our stories of faith. I'm glad you dropped by for a visit. Please stay a while and hear what the Lord has done in the lives of moms just like you and me. Hey friends, how are you doing? It's just 4 days until Christmas, and our house is so full of life. I have 8 of my 9 children here this weekend, plus 3 in-laws, 4 grandkids, and a grandma. So some weeks I'm able to work ahead and upload all these shows to just automatically release, and that was my plan over the holidays. It just didn't happen. So I'm going to be checking in with you right now, just telling you what's going on. I have felt a lot of overwhelm this year, and the message that keeps coming to my ears and to my heart is that of the word rest. I'm not very good at it. I'm usually all in or I'm all out. I don't do very much halfway, but it has been a year that has really challenged me in that thinking because I don't know that I can live all in or all out anymore. I've been working with a functional medicine doctor and have realized my humanity and the very real need to slow down and recognize what's going on in my brain and my body, fatigue, and managing stress. So honestly, my life's been so fast that it's hard to figure out how to make changes. How can I actually slow down when life moves so quickly and people are relying on me? But I know I've got to go there. I'm looking back at my list of the 33 books that I've read this year, and there has definitely been a theme of rest and renewal there. I want to tell you the top 3 books of the year for me, and I'm going to put the links for those in the show notes. The one I just finished like 2 nights ago is called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. I was listening to that on audio while I was painting our playroom when I probably should have been wrapping presents or getting things ready for company, but I just had to get that painting done. But this book, it was really good to just ponder and evaluate time and treasure and how I invest the things of my life. So if you have some time to do a book like that, I would highly recommend that one. I've read a handful of theology books this year, and the one that I think I'd like to highlight, and the one that was just a really easy read for me, was called Toxic Empathy by Allie Beth Stuckey. If you don't know who she is, go find her on Instagram because she just speaks solid truth. I think you're going to find her an encouraging voice for the times that we live in. And then a just for fun book I read this summer while I was canning spaghetti sauce. It was a 15-hour audiobook called Radium Girls by Kate Moore. And it is a historical story about the Radium Dial Company. It was fascinating and also tragic, but a story out of history. And it makes you also think about the traditions that we get in and why laws are written and the fallout for when we don't have full knowledge of some of the scientific discoveries, I guess, haven't been made yet. So anyway, those are just 3 of my highlights this year, different categories of reading, but ones that you might find interesting. I could probably tell you about others, but I don't want to bore you. And if you're curious about the rest of the books that I've read, you're just going to have to send me a message on Instagram or contact me on my website, and I'll send you a note, maybe a photograph of my list, because I probably won't write a review on everything, but I could give you the list. Anyway, so to wrap up this year, I want to tell you what a pleasure it is to interview interesting people on your behalf and share their stories. Thank you so much for listening. I am just honored that you would take the time to find this show and come back week after week. And I just pray that it is an encouragement to your heart and that you find words that just keep you going and spur you on and help you to keep your eyes on Jesus. Things are going to be a little different as far as format here in 2025. I am a solo staff here, so I find my interviews on my own, do the recording, do the editing, do the promo, all those things by myself. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed about a lot of things to juggle. So I have made a decision that in 2025, I'm just going to be releasing an episode every other week. And in doing so, I'm going to be able to spend a little more time writing. What in particular will I be writing? Well, I am going to start actually sending out a monthly newsletter. I do have a list, but usually you all only hear from me about every 6 months. But the plan is for me to figure out how to work that technology portion myself, get that going every month. I'd like to connect a bit more on the socials. And I do have a few books in my heart, some projects of mine that if I'm ever going to proceed with them, I need to have a little bit of concentrated effort. And so those are a few of the things that I'll be working on this year. If you are anxious to hear from me every week, hey, go back to the beginning of these shows. I started this in 2020, and if you just start at the beginning, you'll find over 220 episodes that you can catch up with or go back and listen to them again. You know, sometimes I forget when I record with somebody what we talked about, and I even go back and listen to them every now and then, and I think, oh, wow, that was so good. Like, it's new information, even though I was part of the original conversation. It's kind of funny. And lastly, I would really love it if you would head over to my website, tendingfields.net, and just poke around a little bit. It has just been reworked. I've had somebody helping me with the whole site. But if you'll do me a favor, and if you find any dead links or anything that is needs my attention, send me a message because I'm really trying to get that, caught up and looking good and the functionality to be good. So we're still trying to catch a few things here and there, and I could really use an extra set of eyes. So when you're there, you can sign up to receive the monthly emails. And as I get this into my routine, I will be not only sending the monthly emails, but I want to send out an email each time an episode releases with a little bit of information about what the topic is and some of those links right in the email. So it'll just be at your fingertips if you want to find some of the resources that we share on any of these shows. I guess I do have one more thing to tell you. Something to celebrate this year. Please, please, please celebrate with me. This is so exciting. So, though the podcast is The Mom Next Door Stories of Faith, the overarching umbrella is Tending Fields, and that is my website, tendingfields.net. Well, Tending Fields in 2024 became a 501c3. And I'm really excited about some of the ways that we're going to be able to build and grow this ministry to be able to support moms in their parenting endeavors and encourage them in the Lord. So in the future, that would be also a way to support the podcast is through Tending Fields. And I'm happy about that, and I'd love to share a little bit more about that with you in the months to come. Thank you so much for listening. That was a short podcast, but a lot of information. If you are wanting a little review, just hop on into the show notes and scroll down. There's going to be some links to follow for those books that I was recommending, and also to the website. So hope to see you around online on Instagram, in the Tending Fields Moms group on Facebook, or like I said, check out the website. You can hit the contact button there and tell me what you think. All right, we'll see you very soon. Merry Christmas. I hope that you've been encouraged or challenged in your faith today. and that something we discussed prompts you to grow deeper in your walk with the Lord. If it has, make sure you tell a friend so they can grow along with you. And if you or a friend would like to be a guest and share about God's faithfulness in your life, please email me at podcast@tendingfields.net. Because when we tell of God's faithfulness, we never run out of stories.
Whatever is true.